toxic masculinity.
The Anti-Defamation League says that Twitch should censor even more. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know what Twitch is. Probably most of you don't know what it is. Some of you probably do. Twitch is basically like YouTube for gamers. So if you're somebody who likes to play video games and you want to stream it to other people who like watching people play video games, then you can do that. When Twitch first came out, I remember vaguely hearing about it. And one thing that was kind of an interesting phenomenon is you had like hot girls who would play video games and they'd get these massive Twitch followings. It was kind of like a somewhat innocent form of not, I wouldn't say prostitution, but you know what I mean? Like almost like sexual exploitation, but at like a very, very sort of like low key level. I remember thinking like, wow, that's kind of a weird thing, but I mean, it's kind of cool because at the end of the day, like certainly, to some degree, that's what actors are, right? That's what actors are. Actors are often compared to prostitutes, right? And the reason is because I think, if you think about what is a prostitute, I mean, well, okay, I don't want to get into that, but a lot of people want to have some kind of connection with people around them. And as the world becomes more and more digitized and less, personal, like we're actually not running, like we're not interacting face to face much at all anymore. Like I very rarely go out of the house. I very rarely meet with friends. And so, yeah, I get a lot of my socialization needs met by watching TV shows. You know, I like to watch British comedies, and I like the people on those British comedies. I think they're charming people. If I could be friends with them and hang out with them in person, I would, but I can't because I'm, in Los Angeles and I don't know them. So I don't. There are people in Los Angeles that I do like, that I do spend time with, that I do go and visit. I do spend a lot of time on the phone with friends that I'm close to, but that live far away. But also I watch TV, and I think that's something similar to like watching Twitch, even if it's just like a hot gamer girl. People I think who don't have a girlfriend, and they just want to see some like cute girl playing video games and chatting, and it kind of gives them the sense that they've got somebody there with them hanging out. I'm probably making it sound more sad than it actually is. But anyway, the concept of Twitch is that people are just watching people play video games live. That's Twitch. You can do other kinds of shows on Twitch too, but that's the main use for Twitch. And very much like YouTube, like Twitter, like Facebook, all these places, Twitch censors users, right? I think Donald Trump is actually banned from Twitch. But anyway, let's go ahead and read some of this article. So the Anti-Defamation League, who's, is this far left organization, they want Twitch to censor people even. Of course they do. Of course they do. The far left Anti-Defamation League has said that Twitch and the Amazon-owned video streaming platform should invest even more resources into censorship tools. Even if the platform banned Donald Trump twice, first temporarily during the campaign season, then permanently in January, Twitch streams are usually accompanied by a live chat feature which can be censored by moderators appointed by the streamer in question. In these community moderated chat rooms, the Anti-Defamation League is targeting. Oh, it is these community-based. So you're not allowed to chat the wrong things, or the Anti-Defamation League will want you kicked out. Let's see here. We found that certain aspects of Twitch, when used effectively, can make its spaces more resilient against harassment than other platforms. For example, text messages in Twitch chat are ephemeral. They cannot be engaged with individually like content on platforms like Facebook, where options to like and reply to specific comments appear even on comments on live streaming video. They don't speak very well, do they? Other factors appear to be the extensive and customizable suite of tools Twitch provides to community moderators to address hate. However, this suite is not consistent across Twitch, as the platform that plagued a recent Twitch event hosted by... As the problems that plagued a recent Twitch event hosted by comedian Jimmy Fallon on April 6th shows. And even platform announcement events hosted by Twitch itself have turned into spaces full of hate and harassment. Unbelievable. I'm not pro hate and harassment. I don't like that sort of thing. But I am for free speech. And I'm not going to read this whole article, but I'm going to say this. Here's the problem with Twitch, okay? And this is kind of, to some degree, the problem with the internet generally, and especially Twitter is a huge problem with this. a lot of the people that go on the internet are like teenage boys, right? Like 12, 13-year-old teenage boys. Because the term blue anon was actually censored from Urban Dictionary, right? Which I think it was Jack Prosobic? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Said that it was the first time he'd ever heard of anything being censored on Urban Dictionary, and he's totally right. Urban Dictionary does not censor words, right? The whole concept of Urban Dictionary is it's like ugly slang words and stuff like that. So they censored Blue Anon. They censored Blue Anon, specifically political speech. Blue Anon. That's the weird thing about what's going on right now. You can really say anything. Like on Twitter, you can post pornography on Twitter, but you cannot say certain political things on Twitter because those are dangerous. And the same thing's going like with Twitch, but with Blue Anon. So I looked up the N-word on Urban Dictionary just to make sure that it was there. Because it's like Urban Dictionary is like, well, you can put the N-word. That's not a problem. But you can't put Blue Anon. That's dangerous, right? So I went on Blue Anon. I looked up the N-word, and it had a little audio thing where you could listen to the word being pronounced. And I was curious how they, like, if they were willing to do that. Because I was thinking, like, that's actually... I'm actually kind of surprised that they would actually put the little audio file there and allow that to be there for that word. But they totally did. So I pushed it. I pushed the button to listen to it to see if it's some kind of like digital audio, pronunciation thing. But it wasn't. It was actually somebody recorded their voice saying it. But if you go to Urban Dictionary and you go to the N-word and you play the little audio clip, it's not the voice of like a professional voice recording artist. It's the voice of like a 12-year-old boy, right? So it's obviously some kid who thought it would be funny to put the audio in there, right? And that's the problem with our like hyper censorship society right now. It's like a lot of times when I was growing up, I wasn't actually that bad of a kid. I was a pretty good kid in the sense that I like to get up to mischief, but I wasn't like intentionally crass or vicious or nasty. I wasn't trying to like get into fights. I wasn't trying to commit arson or like I wasn't into vandalism or anything like that, right? I wasn't like a bad kid, but I knew a lot of kids who were bad kids. And the kids who were interested in getting up to trouble, they wouldn't have thought twice, I don't think, about saying the N-word. I don't specifically remember anybody saying the N-word in particular, but I doubt that any of them would have cared one way or another saying that word specifically. But it wasn't because they were racist. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I grew up with a kid named Brian, black kid. And, we used to ride bikes. We used to hang out like just like normal kids, whatever. And I would say 99% of the time, I never thought about the fact that he was black, except when it would be brought up, right? Except when it would be brought up. Not necessarily by him, but by other people basically talking about how he's oppressed and stuff like that. I mean, even back then, this was like, I guess, like 1993, 1994, something like that. And, we're just running around, 13-year-old kids goofing off. Whatever. I never saw anybody be racist against him, not in my hometown anyway. And like I said, there were bad kids. I mean, there were kids that were a bit vicious, and I'm sure they would have said the N-word to him if they didn't like him or something like that. But it wasn't because they were racist. It was because they would probably know that that's something that would upset him, that would bother him. And he wasn't like, one of the coolest kids in school. I certainly wasn't one of the coolest kids in school. People didn't like us particularly. So I could see that happening. But again, kids don't necessarily think through what they're doing, right? They're not necessarily motivated by the same thing an adult might be. And even adults sometimes make that kind of mistake. You know what I mean? They might be pissed off at somebody, say, oh, that person's fat. And I know it'll upset them if I call them fat. And so even though it's socially unacceptable, I'm going to yell, hey, fatty, at them, despite the fact that I know it's really quite cruel and mean. That's the point, really. I mean, they're trying to be cruel and mean. So in the same way, somebody might yell out the N-word, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean they're a racist. I think that we've associated a lot of things with being racist or being a bigot or being a hateful person, which aren't necessarily appropriately associated with that thing. And granted, I'm a very optimistic person, right? I'm a very positive person. So certainly there are some times when somebody is a racist person, they are trying to attack somebody for their race, they are trying to be a bigot or whatever. But I don't think that's always true, and I certainly don't think that's always true with kids. And so when you're trying to moderate something like Twitch, which is mostly made up of teenage boys, what the hell are you going to do, guys? They're savages. Teenage boys are savages. I don't care if you're black or white or, Japanese or Taiwanese or South American or African or Russian or what. Teenage boys are savages. Okay? I mean, you get in trouble saying that about Native Americans, but I was a teenage boy. I can say it about myself. We are savages, all right? I remember when AOL came out. Okay, so I got my first computer in 1994. Or maybe 1993, I can't remember. And we had AOL chat rooms. I don't know if you guys remember those. And I would go on and I would like just like today, I would troll people, I would troll people. I wasn't that brutal because I wasn't trying to be super mean or anything, but I would go on, and if I saw somebody who was trolling and attacking somebody, I would troll them back, right? So I was kind of like Dexter, I guess, right? I was like murdering serial killers. So I'd go in and I'd find somebody who was a troll, and just for fun, I'd be like, troll versus troll, and I'd try to troll them back and see if I could say something that was more clever than them. Basically, that was the extent of it. And so I was like 14, 15, and I was, whatever. I thought maybe I don't know what I was thinking, but you're just trying to be clever, trying to outsmart people, trying to be funny. And, I would get attention in the chat rooms. People be like, oh, that guy's hilarious. And it was a bit of fun. You talk political stuff sometimes and whatnot. But I don't necessarily think these kids are bad kids. I don't think these, certainly there needs to be some moderation just for practical concerns, because if you have people who are congesting the chat with their trolling, then other people don't get a chance to talk and stuff like that. That's bad, right? You want to be able to sort of free up speech and let everybody speak. But if it's just somebody saying something you don't like, you know what? Just F off. Enough censorship, guys. Enough censorship. Just all the censorship just needs to go away. Okay? Yeah. If somebody's clogging up the chat, get rid of them. Okay, I understand that, right? That's a good reason to get rid of them. If they're just typing the letter A over and over and over again so nobody else can chat, get rid of that guy. Because that's a technical issue, right? You're not censoring somebody's speech. You're just getting rid of a problem. But enough censorship. If Democrats can reiterate all the lies that I said, that I mentioned earlier in the show, if they can reiterate all those lies over and over and over again, day after day, on CNN and MSNBC, and there's never any consequence. Oh, we're just going to lie to you and it's fine and just believe us. And if we're wrong, we won't have to burn a retraction because we're CNN and nobody, we're above reproach. Despite the fact that we lie to you every single day, all day. If they can do that, then a 14-year-old boy can call you fat or say that your mother's a prostitute or something like that. It's fine. Just let the kids alone. Okay. Just back off. All right. I think we have one last story. So this story is a little bit controversial, I would say, because I know this guy. So this guy is a white nationalist. He's the kind of guy even conservatives hate. Now, I've spoken to Nick a few times. We've chatted. He's kind of an odd guy because he's got a lot of views that are very smart. He's a super, super smart guy. Super smart guy. Very young, but very, very smart. In fact, I would say he's too smart. He's so intelligent that he has basically been able to corner a market and get a fan base that's very, very loyal, but a bit volatile, and I think to some degree it has hurt him because he's taken such a provocative position on so many issues. And I confronted him on one of them when we were at CPAC. I was like, dude, basically on the interracial marriage stuff. He's like against interracial marriage. And before you say, oh, what a degenerate white nationalist Nick Fuentes is, what a degenerate, what a racist, consider this. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.